All right, let's talk about the last part of Notes 25, which is on negative exponents. So Notes 25, prior to this, we've seen some negative exponents, but I want to get a lot more into it today. So first thing I want you to know is negative exponents do not necessarily mean you get negative answers. In fact, more often than not, what you're going to get are actually fractional problems. Now, it is possible to have negatives along with the fractions, but the idea here is when we have a negative exponent, I want to rewrite this with a positive exponent. So 2 to the negative 2, I'm going to rewrite this as 1 over 2 squared. By moving this base of 2 to the denominator of a fraction, I get to change the sign of the exponent. And 1 over 2 squared, well, that's going to be 1 over, 2 squared is 4, so that's 1/4. So 2 to the negative 2 power is not negative anything. It's the fraction 1/4. Now, you might be asking yourself, how did that come about? Where did that come from? So for this particular problem, let's say we had 2 to the 4th divided by 2 to the 6th. Okay, so one of the things we've talked about is something called the quotient rule. Quotient rule is when we're dividing, right? We have like bases, the 2 and the 2. And I would take 4 minus 6. Okay, cool. So 2 to the 4th over 2 to the 6th would become 2 to the negative 2. That's one way to do this problem. The other way, there's multiple ways to do this. Another way to do this is if I were to write out 2 to the 4th, that's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 2 to the 6th is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times, did I get enough 2s? Nope, there's another one. All right, so I had to make sure I got them all. And I can then, right, this is all multiplication and division, so I can look to cancel things out. So let's say this 2 cancels out that 2. 1s are left over. And that 2 cancels out that 2. 1s are left over. And oh, look, I can cancel out that 2. 1s are left over. And that 2 cancel out. 1s are left over. And I can just multiply now straight across. And really in the numerator, I've just got 1 times 1 times 1 times 1, which is 1. And 1 times 1 times 1 times 1. Okay, all 1s here. Times 2 times 2, which is 1/4. So this quotient rule is these are the exact same thing. All right, so again, when you have negative powers, negative exponents, you're going to move your base to make it be positive. All right, so all of that explanation, let's get into part B here. So 3 to the negative 2, well, I'm going to rewrite this as 1 over 3 squared. Okay, well, that's going to turn into 3 squared is 9, so that's 1/9. Okay, so far so okay. Let's slide on over to part C. Now we're going to do two things, right? Exponent rules, we've got to do exponents first, then we'll do a little addition. All right, so 2 to the negative 3 is going to be 1 over 2 cubed plus 3 to the, we just did 3 to the negative 2, so that'd be 1 over 3 squared. So this is 1/8 plus 1/9. Now, long time ago, probably one of the first topics we talked about was adding and subtracting fractions. So this is exactly what we're asking you to do here. So to add or subtract fractions, I need the least common multiple of 8 and 9, which is simply 8 times 9, which is 72. So we're going to multiply by 9 here. So that's 9 over 72. Multiply by 8 here. It's 8 over 72. And now that they have the common denominator, I can go ahead and add those up, keeping the denominator of 72. So 9 plus 8 makes 17 over 72. Well, that's a fabulous fraction there, okay? But that's part C. So you have that exponent rule with the negative exponents, and then we were able to deal with the actual common denominator and adding the fractions up. Okay, part D. Part D, we've got this denominator here that has the 4 with the negative 2. So just like in the last problem where I took this and wrote it as a fraction, if you've already got the fraction, this piece, whatever this is, we're going to move it up to the numerator, okay? So this is going to be 1 times 4 to the positive 2 power. So let's see what we get here. So 1 times 4 squared is 16. 1 times 16 is simply 16, okay? So anything that has a negative exponent has to move. If you don't have a negative exponent, it just stays where it is. So the 1 here just stays the 1 there. The 4 moves up as a multiplication problem, okay? All right, and I think E is going to be the last one. So let's see what's going on here. We've got this piece of the denominator that's got the negative exponents. We're going to need to move that. But folks, be careful. That 3 does not have any negative exponent. So that 3 just stays 3 times. Let's go ahead and pull this up to the numerator. So 2, and when it moves, it becomes positive. So that's going to be 3 times 2 squared is 4. 3 times 4 makes 12. All right, we'll keep talking about some negative exponents. As always, when I finish out these videos, I let me know if you have any questions or concerns. And I'll see you in the next one.